Okay.
I'm so excited to have Gabriela on our, can I call you Gabby?
Yes, you can.
Okay, Gabby. Gabby on this call. I just first wanted to share a few things, a few reminders with everybody. The first thing is that tomorrow at 5:30 p.m., I know it's kind of an awkward time, but Lacey Larson, which is the Northeast Assistant Director of Sales, she's actually going to be a guest speaker. She's hosting a call just for our team, only for us. The Northeast page, they kind of posted something about whether or not any coaches wanted to have any guest speakers. And I chose Larcy. So I have met her a few times. She is a really nice person. I feel like she will be able to shed some light and hopefully we can learn a few tips. I did share with her basically what our team seems to struggle with, which is recruiting and being consistent with Success Club. And I just feel like personally, every time I listen to a different leader or just another coach, like I always feel like I learned something new. So I'm really looking forward to her call tomorrow. That is at 5:30 and the link is on our team page. And it's, like I said, it's an exclusive call just for us. I'm really excited about that. Also, we do have a backstage to coaching tonight at 9 p.m. I just wanted to remind you guys, it's not too late if you want to send out a few invites. Not too late to do that. So that is on tonight at 9 o'clock, right after this call. And then just very briefly, I wanted to talk just about it's being kind of close to the end of the month. I do realize that this has been a kind of a challenging month for us. Definitely going into the summer, it's typical that people disconnect. They get very distracted. But if I can just share just a few things. I know a few of you have one or two people you've signed up. You're close. A few maybe you haven't signed anybody up yet, but it's not too late, guys. It really is not too late. We still have maybe a little less than 2 weeks to the end of the month. A lot could happen then. And what that means is that triple, quadruple. If you're doing your invite, you're going to have to do more so than what you've been doing, quadruple. Just a few tips. Make sure that you're getting in your daily power hours. What worked for me today, which it's been a little bit challenging for me, is literally I woke up at 5 o'clock in the morning because my house is really quiet. The kids are not awake yet. And I feel like I get distracted with messages and stuff on my phone. So I feel like at that time, nobody's really messaging me. So I got so much done, like between 5 and like 6:15, 6:30 in the morning. And then I just took some Energize and I got a workout in, because I knew I was going to have a busy day. So this is, as leaders, we need to really go above and beyond, because we can't fall into the whole distraction of what's happening right now with the summertime. There's graduations, and I know that you guys see it on Facebook, right? People are disconnected. They're going on vacations. It doesn't mean that they're not ready to sign up. It just means that we have to get more creative in terms of reaching out to them. All right. So your power hours daily, make sure that you're engaging in the vital behaviors is really important. If you slack on fitness, it's going to reflect on the business. You're not going to feel that energy in terms of posting and that authenticity when you share and you invite, if you yourself are not on top of your fitness and your nutrition. We all know that Country Heat has some sneak peeks going on. I believe we still have access to 2 of their programs. I want to start incorporating Zoom workouts. Elisa remembers that, and a few of you guys remember that during the winter time, we did a lot of group Zoom workouts, like as a team. And I feel like they got a lot of attention. And I feel like somewhere along the line, we kind of stopped doing them. So I want us to get back to that. Really, really important. I feel like that is the perfect way to put it out there, holding ourselves accountable. We're doing the Zoom workouts with our teams, with our challengers, and then you're sharing about it and just showing others that, hey, we can still stay on track, even though this is a really super busy, distracting time. Summertime tends to be a lot of barbecues. We can use that, guys. A lot of barbecues, a lot of outings. So talk about that, be real about it. And, the summertime, typically people tend to slack. They want to drink margaritas, be real about it. And if someone has a good fitness and nutrition plan already set in place, they can actually go and enjoy their summer, right? That's the way I feel. If I have that margarita or two, I'm not going to feel like like I'm going to totally slip back. So I have to stay on top of it and share about it, talk about it, because it's real and that's what people are really dealing with. So be open about it. Put it on your social media. Staying accountable, being consistent is really, really important, guys. These are tough months. Don't fall into that trap. We have to be different, right? We are different. So we're not the norm. We can't fall into, I'm on vacation and the kids and I can't get my workouts in, because there are going to be distractions. Like I mentioned, the kids are home from school. There's going to be a change in your routine possibly. I already felt it today. Today is my kids' last day. It's half a day. I was trying to figure out, they don't start camp and summer school till next week. And even with that, I'm still going to be doing a running around during the middle of the day. So my routine is going to be different. And I'm already planning for it as to, okay, at what time am I going to get my power hours in? Because things are going to be a little bit different for me. And I'm also moving. So I'm planning all these obstacles that are going to be getting in my way. And I already have kind of a plan set in place as to how am I going to stay on track, right? Because again, we have to be different and we have to show others that they can do this. Right, guys? Did I think I saw somebody's hand raised? No? Elisa, or did you want to say something? Or maybe she's just stretching. Okay, she might just be stretching. So I really want to get to the meat of this call. I just wanted to share that very briefly. So I'm going to announce, I'm going to ask everybody to please go on mute. Let me see if I can go ahead and mute everybody. There might be some of us here, if we're on a regular phone, I can't mute you. All right, thank you, everybody. And then I'm just going to unmute Gabby. So I'm very excited to have Gabby on the phone, on our call with us. I got to know Gabby a lot more. I had the privilege of getting to know her because her and I felt like we kind of did it together, where, you know, we're both 2015 elite coaches, and we both had the honor of hosting the Team Eagles Super Saturday. I think it was like the first of the year, right? Right. So I felt like I really got connected to Gabriela, to Gabby. And what I appreciate about her is that she's very genuine. She, you know, what you see is what you get with Gabby. She's been able to build this amazing team. You have family on your team as well. And I asked her to be a guest speaker on our call today because I feel like she can share so many kind of valuable tidbits in regards to her journey. She's a very successful coach. Gabby is a 5-star 2015 elite coach. She's a 5-star in her first business center, and she is a 1-star in her second business center. She is also an all-star legend for 27 months. So what that means is that for 27 months consecutively, she's been able to reach not just Success Club 5, but 10 for 27 months consecutive. And I'm like, whoa, that's like a huge honor. She's also top 7 in the Latino market, and she is a member of the New York Market Council. So welcome, Gabby.
Hi, thank you so much for
That's my daughter. Let me mute myself. She's having fun over there, you see?
It's real life. It's real life. So I'm actually I'm honored to be on your call. Thank you so much, Denise, for inviting me. As Denise said, we definitely did connect through our journey when we were pushing each other and our teams to elite last year, and also preparing for Super Saturday. So I'm honored to be on your call tonight. So I'm going to apologize in advance because my husband took my son, my 3-year-old son, to the park. But as soon as he walks in that door, I kid you not, he's going to jump right here. So he always makes an appearance. I'm apologizing in advance.
Real life, girl. Don't worry about it. That shows that you're a coach, you're a real coach, and you have a family, you have a small child, and it's okay.
Yeah, my team is used to it, you know, so hopefully he'll tire him out and he'll go straight to bed. Fingers crossed. So anyway, let me share a little bit about my story, how I became a coach, how I became into the Beachbody world. So in 2008, my husband now, he proposed, and you know, we were getting ready to get married. We were planning our wedding, and he saw a commercial, P90X commercial, and he's like, that look good for a wedding. And I'm like, sure. I'm the type of person, if you need to know anything about me, is that I do not enjoy working out. I really don't. I actually enjoy the feeling after the workout. So I always focus on that, because doing the workout will never get me to work out. It's the feeling afterwards. So when he said that, I was like, I guess, whatever. So he would wake me up at 5 a.m. to get our workout in. And obviously, for those who have done P90X or that are aware, familiar with it, know that it's an hour program. So I needed to be in the shower no later than 6:15, get ready, and start my routine and go to work. So about a month, we succeeded. We would wake up together, we would work out. It was just dreadful. I felt like throwing up every single day. And then he got hit with the flu. This sounds really bad, but that was like my excuse to get out of that workout. So, he was sick. I wasn't going to wake up at, 5 a.m. to do the workout by myself. So I was out. I was done. He tried to encourage me. He said, Gab, there's like this thing at the end of each workout that says, call a coach, get connected to a coach. He's like, maybe you should call. This is back in 2008. I was like, no, thank you. I'm good. I'll wait for you, kind of thing. So needless to say, we did not complete that workout. We did not complete P90X. And fast forward, we got married, we continue on our living our lives, and unhealthy lives. We were eating whatever, ordering a lot of takeout, going out, partying, just regular youth, I guess. It's my excuse, and I'm sticking to it. But fast forward, we decided to have a family. So I got pregnant. And when I got pregnant, Jorge, my husband's name is Jorge, he started to get into juicing. He started to learn more about it. He started to really just investigate and do research about it. He even bought a Vitamix. So he would prepare me a green juice every single day, Monday through Friday, my entire pregnancy. And he would say, I want you to have a healthy pregnancy. I want you to feel good. I want you to have energy, and I want my son, to be healthy. So I think he was doing it for him, but he prepared the juice the entire pregnancy. And that's how we started to kind of be more conscious about eating healthy, what we thought was healthy. And then when I gave birth, prior to giving birth, right, we were in discussions as to, should I go back to work? Should I stay home? I'm a very skeptical kind of individual. So we decided that I was going to stay home with my son for at least 3 years, his first 3 years. And I have to say that it was because of one of my nieces that I had actually pinpointed that 3-year mark. And that was because my niece, Adriana, was very talkative at that age. And so I figured, you know what, if he's talking as much as she's talking, he'll tell me everything that's going on if I have, once I have to drop him off somewhere. So that's what we decided. I'll stay home. But let me backtrack a little bit. I actually came from the nonprofit world. I have a I have a psychology degree. I worked with individuals who were that had psychiatric conditions, but also were incarcerated or in a psychiatric hospital. My job for about 5 years was to connect them to be, fruitful or very productive individuals into the community. So that was a tough population to deal with. It drained me because emotionally, when you care about what you do, you're fully vested. And every single time any of my clients got reincarcerated, it hit me hard. I felt like I was doing something wrong, that I wasn't providing the services they needed, that I wasn't connecting them with the services they needed. So, it really was hitting home for me. I was bringing the problems home. I talked about it all the time. So I needed to take a break from it. And I did. I decided to take a break. I resigned my position after 5 years. And then I started to, I kind of just fell into HR. I started to do temporary work, and I fell into HR. I grew in the field of HR by, paying my dues. And I became a HR generalist. My concentration was actually laying off individuals. That's right before I left my position. And it was horrible. If anyone here has ever watched that movie Up in the Air, that's who I was. They literally were sending me away to like different cities to lay off hundreds of people. And that was what I concentrated on. And I hated it. I hated it every single, from the very first time I ever did it to the very last time I did it, because I knew I was hurting someone, their livelihoods, their families, their children. And it was just a very hard thing to do. The other thing was I had to conduct new hire orientations. I had to do presentations for trainings, and I hated that too. That feeling of having that anxiety before speaking, even though, that was part of my responsibilities and I knew my job very well, I just never felt comfortable doing it. So, I always paid my dues. I did above and beyond what was expected of me. But it's corporate, right? It's corporate. I thought that when I fell into HR, that I had found what I was meant to do. But then I quickly realized that HR is not about helping the employees, it's actually about protecting the company. And so no matter what role you have, it's about the company. And I quickly learned that. And they really, did wrong by me. But I think that, maybe one or many of you or all of you have been in that position where, you do and do and do and give and give and give. And then when you expect in return, they don't come through for you, right? And so you feel disappointed and you feel like, what could I have done more, or why did they treat me like this? So when it was time to decide, for my family or my position, because now, they kind of knew that, I may not come back. So they offered me a promotion. I was out on maternity leave. They offered me a promotion. They offered me a salary increase, and I turned it down because I knew I wanted to stay home with my son. And fast forward 8 months later, I'm going crazy here, with an 8-month-old, I'm breastfeeding, and I wasn't talking. I didn't have any adult interaction. And so I was going crazy because I've always worked. I've worked from very early on, since I was 13 years of age. And I remember seeing a post from my coach. It was a transformation call to action. And I had seen Focus T25. That's the actual program that I started with and completed. And I'd seen the before and afters, but as I said earlier, I'm very skeptical. So I always thought those were fake pictures. That can't be true. How can people change in 10 weeks? No. So when I saw her transformation, I realized it is real. It is real people, people I know. And so mentally I was ready. I was ready to get involved in some adult interaction, and I was ready to lose the baby weight that I had gained. And so that's how I got started. And then 2 weeks in, my husband was actually doing the program with me. I was receiving the support from the challenge group, but he was actually also supporting me at home. We were supporting each other, going through the journey together, and we were drinking the same bag of Shakeology. And so when I realized that if I didn't act fast, we would be left without Shakeology. And I posted in my challenge group, for suggestions for flavors. And then at that point, my coach had got to me and said, hey, maybe you want to take advantage of the 25% discount. Another thing you want to know about me is that I literally have a Ziploc full of coupons. And when she said 25% discount, I said, what do I have to sign up? And that's how I got involved. I really did do it for the discount. However, now we're 4 weeks into our challenge. People started to notice that, Jorge and I were happier. We were working out together. We looked healthier. You could see visible changes in us, and people started asking, what are you guys doing? We want to join. Whatever you're doing, sign us up. And so it was a very natural transition for me to pay it forward. And that's how I became a coach. 4 weeks into being a challenger myself, I actually opened my first challenge group without knowing anything in the business, not knowing whether we got paid or not, whether I could run a challenge group or not. But I was, I had made a decision that I was going to do it no matter what. And I made a decision that, if I was in a challenge group and it was helping me complete a program, right, I was in the right track to complete a program and I felt good. And I knew that I sucked at working out and I knew that I didn't enjoy it. And I knew that, prior to that, I always gave up and that this channel was making it possible for me. I knew that I had to share that with other women and men that, basically felt what I felt, unmotivated and didn't have the support or the accountability elsewhere. And so that's how I became a Beachbody coach. So now I want to share, if Denise,
Gabby, can I just interject? Yes. Whenever I hear, like I mentioned earlier, just any like other coaches share their stories, I feel like we have so much more in common than not, right? And I think that a lot of people maybe don't share or they keep to themselves because they think like they're the only ones that are going through it. So I appreciate you sharing how you kind of made that transition. Being that you were in corporate America, you were working for so many years. So like, can you share a little bit about how was that for you in terms of you were working for somebody, then you were home, and then now you kind of decided to, okay, I'm going to work this business. Like, how was that transition for you? Yes,
of course. So basically, when I became a coach, like I said, I did it for the discount. And then once I decided that I was going to coach, I had no idea the potential of this business at all. I knew that I wanted to help people. I knew that I wanted to, make it available to those individuals that, had that same issue that I had, that, didn't have that accountability, that they didn't have support, motivation. And so I remember my coach at the time was super new herself, very, very new. And so I've always been very resourceful, always, in all of my positions, my prior positions. I feel that for one reason or another, I feel like God has always placed me in positions where I had to figure it out on my own. I recall, and not to kind of go off tangent a little bit here, but I recall in two of my HR positions, my first one, or second one, excuse me, my manager was training me, and maybe like the second day in, she said, like literally my second day in the job, she sits me down and I'm like freaking out. Like, what does she want to talk to me about? Because I knew, like I could tell in her face it was something serious. And she says, I put in my resignations and I'm out of here in 2 weeks. And I'm like, what? Like, who's going to train me? Right. And so she left. She did what she could in 2 weeks and the rest was up to me. And I was reporting directly into the head of HR. I was actually at that time, I was a coordinator, and I was the only coordinator reporting into him, and everybody else was managers and directors and above. And I figured it out. I was able to connect, to learn who the right people in that job or in that company were that would help me make my position, better or the transition better or my job, productive. And so, if I learned who was an expert, for example, in PeopleSoft, right? I had no idea what PeopleSoft was, but I knew it was a system that I had to learn. So I found out who the expert was, and I became friendly with that person. And I reached out to that person, and I was able to, basically, create a rapport where if I needed help, that person was going to provide help, right? And vice versa. The other job, the same scenario, I've always been left like kind of hanging, like, the people leave and it's just kind of like up to me to figure it out. But I've always been very resourceful. And so I was able to transfer that skill into Beachbody. So when I first started, as I said, I had no idea whether we got paid. I had no idea how to run a challenge group. I had no idea about Success Club. I didn't even know what that was.
Gabby, can I share? Do you mind if I share why? Gabby's upline has been kind of absent. Gabby's way upline is Audrey, but her direct upline has been absent. So, I mean, I'm just putting it out there. Do you feel like you had to be resourceful in that sense, or you have that skill, but did that kind of push you to just almost like rely on yourself more so for the business, because you didn't really have that upline support?
That's right. So my upline, she is great at her trade. She is fantastic at, she has her own business that she's amazing and passionate about. And so that is what she does. But she was also new at the time. And so when I figured out that she was new and that she didn't really know, then I had to go somewhere else to, figure it out. I had to go somewhere else to ask questions, somewhere else to get mentored. And that's why, that's how I did it. Originally I kind of fell into the back office. And I know that the back office, if you're new, might seem very overwhelming because there's so much going on. And honestly, that's how I felt when I first came into the back office. I was like, what are these tabs? And there's like all these things. And I'm like, wait, where was I before? And how do I get back there? Like, it was a mess. But what did I do? I went to where it says start here, because I was getting lost. I was like, wait, I need it. And I was like, you know what? It says start here. Let me start here. And that's exactly how I started. I went where it said start here. I read this welcome letter, and then transition.
Oh, I'm sorry. We have some. Okay, I muted everybody. I'm so sorry.
Okay. So then when I kind of stumbled upon our direct deposit, to enroll, I said, "Oh, we get paid." I said, "I don't know how much we got paid, but I was like, I guess we get paid." So I put that information in there, right, real quick, because HR. I said, I'm gonna get paid. And so all I did was, then I stumbled upon the guides for Challenge Group. And I said, you know what? I'm not trying to figure things out here. I'm not going to reinvent the wheel. I'm going to copy and paste this bad boy. I'm going to run this Challenge Group. I enjoyed being in her Challenge Group, and I knew that I could run one myself. There was never a doubt in my mind that I would do it wrong. And even if I did it wrong, no one would know. You know what I mean? So I decided to go ahead and do that. And I think that's what really, I remember Audrey actually reaching out to me. And because, you as a business owner, you work with the coaches that are, levels down, that you see want to work this business, and you see that they have an interest because they're helping people. And so I remember her reaching out to me, she introduced herself. And she said, I'm so-and-so coach, I'm her upline coach. If you ever need something, I'm here. And I said, oh, okay. So I said, who's this girl? So I started to follow her. And I said, she's been in the business for quite some time. She's successful. She's someone that I want to learn from, right? And I remember her saying to me also, listen, she said, I don't know what you're doing, but whatever you're doing, keep doing it. And I said, what are you talking about? I was at Success Club 25 without knowing what Success Club was. No idea. And she said, you're at Success Club 25. And I said, what is that? Literally, what is that? She said, remember this. She said, help 5 people every month. She said 5 people, guys, not 3. She said 5, minimum of 5 people. So in my mind, I needed to help 5 people every single month. And that's what I ran with. And then when I learned what Success Club was, I said, oh, she never told me about Success Club 5. But in my mind, I already had Success Club 10. And so I was running with that. You understand? So then I started to follow, she started to say, here, follow this person, or get this book, or whatever, right? So I do recall that when it clicked for me was when I went to a live training with Mickey and Saudi, and it was in the city. I'm an introvert. That's something else you guys need to know about me. So I freak out if I don't know anyone. So, I get nervous. My heart starts pounding. I get butterflies. I'm anxious. I just don't know how to talk to people. I'm just not that type of person. I am a social introvert. I will feed off of your energy, but I need to know you before I start talking to you. So Audrey has said, I'm coming, so, I'll meet you. And I was like, oh, good. She'll be the only person I know, but whatever. I'll go. So I went to this training. She canceled like the day of because something came up in her family. She couldn't go. I was like, holy crap. I'm like, maybe I shouldn't go. Maybe it's not meant for me to go. And she said, but I still want you to go. And I was like, oh, no. I said, all right, I'll go. So my husband was like, you'll be fine, whatever. So I did. I went, and that training just put a whole different perspective on this business. For me, it was just about helping people. And it's not that it's not about helping people, but it can be so much more. It can be not just about helping your challengers change their lives, but helping your coaches change their lives and helping your family change their life. You understand? So when I went there and I heard, Saudi's story, and I connected with her a lot, Mickey's story, and just a lot of folks share their stories. And obviously that's why we say share stories, because a lot of people connect with stories, right? Stories, right, are where it is. So I left fired up. I was only a coach. I remember them talking about emerald and diamond and star diamond and beyond. And my husband, I took the train in. I took the Metro North, and then my husband had picked me up. And he said, how was it? And I said, I don't know what I need to do to get to Emerald, but mark my word, it was a Thursday. I remember like it was yesterday. By Sunday, I will be an Emerald. I will have 2 coaches, even though, it reflects the following week. I said, I will have 2 coaches. And that's exactly what I did. By Sunday, I had 2 coaches because I made a decision that I was going to be Emerald. And that's exactly how I planned Diamond. By such and such date, I will be Diamond. And 5 weeks later, I was Diamond. And then, 8 months later, I was a 2-star Diamond, and so on and so forth. And it's not because I'm smarter than anyone. And it's not because, I don't know, I know more than anyone. No, it was because I made a decision and I wasn't stopping no matter what. And even if I didn't have the information available to me, I made sure that I found it. I made sure that I connected with the right individuals, that I reached out to individuals. I'm the type of individual that I have no ego. It's bank account versus ego, right? And if you allow your ego to take control of your business, you will not move your business forward. So I was the type of individual that if I didn't know something, I had no problem reaching out to someone and introducing myself and saying, hey, I see you're great at this. Can you teach me? Right? Or, hey, I see you're great at this. Can you talk to my team about it? Right? Because I'm not going to teach my team something that I'm not good at. Why? If you have amazing leaders on Team Eagle, we don't have to leave Team Eagle to find leaders that are, full of information and just full of knowledge and willing to help you grow. Because when we grow, everyone grows, right? So I think that's one of the things that helped me grow this business was being resourceful, figuring things out, making sure that I was studying, that I was going into the back office and I was, doing the trainings, that I was plugging in. I didn't know what plugging in was. I would hear people say plugging in until I was like, what is this? What is that? What does that mean? And then, I started to jump on the Team Eagle call and then, other team calls and the national wake-up call. I mean, guys, let's face it. Beachbody wants you to succeed. Why do they want you to succeed? If you're successful, they're successful. So they made sure that the back office was full of information, right? With the right information for you to just grab and use. Grab and use. We do not have to reinvent. We really just could keep it simple and just do what is expected of us. So that's one of the things that I think, definitely helped me. The other thing was thinking back to my job, and as I said, when I first started, I didn't think this was going to be a business. I just started because I wanted to help people. Then when I realized the potential, and we decided I was going to stay home with Matias, that's my son's name, for 3 years. I said, if I can make as much money as I was making in my company, in my last position, I can stay home with my child, and I don't ever have to go back to corporate America, who've played me many times, right? So that's what I did. I made it my first thing. You start with small goals. You can't put this big goal that will paralyze you. So as you start to meet little goals, then you go to bigger goals. And originally my goal was to pay for the 2 bags of Shakeology that were coming into my home, because I wasn't working and I didn't want my husband to spend more money than he had to. So I said, I'll pay for the 2 bags of Shakeology, but I was making more than that. So I said, hey, maybe I want to make this amount a week. And then finally, I was like, wait a minute, I don't want to go back to work. I want to stay home with Matias. I want to be able to, drop him off at school and pick him up from school and play with him and take him to, classes and all of that great stuff. So I started to think about my work ethic. My work ethic at work. I used to bend over backward for my employers. Why wouldn't I do it for myself? Right? Why can't you do it for yourself? And I'm not talking about the work ethic of someone who just needs, or does the bare minimum at their job to survive. I'm talking about that individual that goes above and beyond, that goes out for promotions and gets it, that comes in early, that leaves late, that goes out of their way to excel. That's the type of individual I was. And I said to myself, if I'm able to do that for someone else and build their dream, I can do it for myself. And I'm going to do it for myself, and I'm going to do it for my family, and I'm going to do it so that my team knows that they can also do it for their families. And so I think that definitely helped me to think back, about all the things that I was able to do for someone else. And whenever I don't want to do something, then I think back about that. Because, let's face it, I'm human. And there are days that I just don't want to press play. Remember I said, don't like working out, right? There's days that maybe I don't want to invite or talk to anyone, right? If I'm having a bad day, if I feel like my world is collapsing, if I feel like I have a full plate, and I think about that I was building someone else's dream, that I was waking up at 6 a.m. to get ready, to get on the bus, to deal with the hustle and bustle of New York City, which is ridiculous, get in, do my job, excel at my job, stay crazy hours, come home, and do it all over again. So why can't I do my job for 1 hour a day? My Beachbody business, 1 hour, 2 hours, right? Whatever it takes. So that's another thing that I definitely utilize to my advantage, because I want you to also think about this. If you're an employee, wherever you are an employee right now, if you're working, if you showed up to your business, to your employer, can't even speak, and you showed up the last day of the month, right? Would you still be employed? Would you still have your job? If you showed up maybe, I don't know, during the week, maybe 2 days out of the week, and then the next week you'll show up another, 2 days, and in total you were showing up maybe like 8 days, would you be producing the same amount at your job? So why is this any different? Why is it that you only show up when you feel like showing up? Why is it that you think it's okay to do that? And many of us think it's okay because you either only paid $40 for this this business, or maybe it was even free if you bought a challenge pack and it was waived, right? This is $1 million business, and you need to start treating it like that. You have a lot of success coaches right here at home that are six-figure income earners, that they built this business on a part-time schedule. So that's how you need to treat it. Because if they could do it, so can you. So it's not any different. You should, just as you show up to your job every single day, 8 hours, I'm not asking you to do the same here, but set that hour aside, because this is for you. This is for your dreams. This is for your family. This is for your legacy. Do you understand? So that's what keeps me motivated. When I'm feeling down, when I feel like I don't want to do the activities that I know will move my business forward, that's what I do. I think about the fact that, I was doing it for somebody else. And I was doing it because I knew that if I didn't show up, they wouldn't pay me, or that I could, run the risk of getting fired. So be your own boss, right? Boss up and be your own boss, and talk to yourself like that. Why am I not showing up to my job, to do my activities, but I'm able to do it for somebody else? So that definitely keeps me grounded. That definitely, keeps me motivated and inspired to keep doing the activities. And then finally, last thing I want to go over is being patient. I think that many times, and I think it's because of the society we live in, we want results yesterday, right? So it's just like a fitness program. How many people give up after a week because maybe they lost 1 pound, maybe they lost 2 inches, maybe they didn't see the scale move, right? And they give up because, this doesn't work. Really? You didn't gain the weight in a week. It took time for you to gain the weight. Same thing with this business, right? You go to college, you don't expect to receive a 4-year degree in 1 semester. There's no way it's going to happen, right? Even at work, I started when I first came into HR, I started as a coordinator or an assistant, and then coordinator, and then I worked myself up. I didn't expect to become, to be in a managerial position like that. It wasn't going to happen. If I didn't pay my dues, I wasn't going to get promoted, right? So why is it that we think that it's going to happen for Beachbody? It's the same thing. Why do we think that, we're supposed to be making this amount of money, but we just started 3 months ago, or we just started a week ago, or we just started a year ago? And it's the same thing, because you hear the Lindsay Matways, and you hear about Sari Almonte and Mickey Fernandez, but you don't see what happened behind closed doors. You don't see all the work that those ladies put in, right? They pay their dues. They did their behaviors. They showed up every day. Did they want to quit? Maybe, but they didn't. They kept pushing. They're still here, and that's why they're successful. So that's what keeps me, grounded. I knew that this business, and they tell you when you first start, we talk to each coach and to say that, this is not a business where you're going to get rich quick. That's just not the type of business we're in. This is a legitimate business. Just like working out takes time for you to eat. You got to eat healthy. You got to, show up and in the kitchen every day. You got to show up in the kitchen. Working out, you have to drink your Shakeology. It might be 21 days. It might be 30 days. It might be, a 60-day program, whatever the program amount. In order for you to see the results, you have to complete that program, right? So you have to pay your dues at each level of your business. This is a business, and you have to treat it like such. So you have to show up, but be patient. And just like the compound effect, if you're doing the activities that you're supposed to be doing every single day, it's going to compound, right, for good results. But if you're doing the opposite, it's going to compound the other way. and you're not going to see results. So I believe that coming in with that mentality that I didn't grow in HR, overnight, I knew that I wasn't going to grow this business overnight either. I knew that I had to do my activities, whether it seemed like I was moving or not. I knew that that I had to show up every day, whether I wanted to or not. Guys, there's been days that my son was sick and I've had to ask my husband to cover me because my goals are that big. My passion for this business are that big. So you have to make sacrifices as well. You have to make sacrifices because if you're not making them, then you're not going to move your business forward. So not only do you have to be patient and you have to make sacrifices, you have to, with all of that, as you're compounding in the right direction, you have to do your 4 vital behaviors, which obviously everybody here knows them, but I'll mention them. You have to invite. And tough month, Denise mentioned at the beginning of the call, it is a tough month. That's just the nature of the beast. This business in the summertime is slow. Doesn't mean that you can't achieve Success Club. It just means that you have to hit it harder, right? And the reason you're feeling like you're getting a bunch of no's or all no's is because you're talking to the minimum amount of people. If you were talking to more people, you wouldn't be feeling it. You would be like, all right, next. No, okay, next month. I'll talk to you next month. Next, right? And that's how you work this business. You invite, and when you have to raise your intensity, then you raise it. And then you bring it down on the months that are fruitful. You have to press play. You have to be, proof the products work. You have to drink your shake so that you're able to genuinely speak about our products. You can't expect someone to, believe what you're selling them if you aren't proof the products work. And the bottom line is that, you don't have to have a 6-pack. You don't have to, be at your goal weight, but you have to be showing progress, and you have to publicly be showing these progress, right? The other one is personal development. We get in our own head and we can't do this, and we put all these self-limiting beliefs in our heads. But if you are rinsing every single day and you're cleaning your head, I promise you that you will, believe in yourself. And if you're doing all the other activities, you're going to feel confident enough to post and invite, and you're going to be, successful because you're going to believe that you could do anything. And finally, obviously, which is the recognizing vital behavior, which is obviously something that everyone loves, even from my challenge group all the way to a coach. Who doesn't like to be recognized? How many times are you recognized at work? Probably not many. So, make sure that you are recognized. Doesn't have to be just your coaches. Obviously, we want to recognize our coaches, but recognize your challengers. Recognize your peers. Recognize your family. Recognize people around it, because when you give love, you're going to receive it back. So make sure also that, with those 4 vital behaviors, be consistent and intentional, because the goal is for you to help more people and achieve your goals by hitting Success Club so that you are closer to your goals, right? I'm pretty sure everyone here is very aware that to move your business forward, you have to hit Success Club. You have to do it. Everything, if you look at it, is measured by Success Club. The leadership ladder, everything is measured by Success Club. You have to hit Success Club 5, at least, in order to be moving in the right direction to reach your goals. So don't complain that you're not, getting to Emerald or getting to Diamond or Star Diamond if you're not hitting Success Club. You're not bringing people in. You can't move your business forward if you are not bringing people in. So I knew in my head that I wanted to help people, but I also knew that in order for me to move my business forward, I needed to present this amazing opportunity and bring more coaches in as well. So you have to make sure that you are hitting Success Club, because that is the benchmark that okay, I'm hitting, this benchmark. next month, I'm closer to my goal. I'm closer to my goal. You know, I've been in this business for 27 months, and I've made it a non-negotiable to hit Success Club 10. That's my minimum. Doesn't mean that I only hit 10. You know, there's months that I hit more. But that's my minimum. That's my non-negotiable. I know that I can't sleep right knowing that I haven't hit Success Club. Every single month when we see that big fat 0, I'm stressed out. I'm anxious. I'm just like, this ain't happening. Like, let me go hit up like mad people because I can't be at 0. And seriously, that's how I look at it every single day, you know, until I hit 2, 4, 6, whatever. And I'm already at 10 this month, but I'm not going to stay there. There's so many other people that need, you know, our help. So what I'm saying is that just, you know, you can hit it. It's a tough month, but it's not impossible. You just need to raise your bar and talk to more people. So make sure that you're hitting those benchmarks, because if you're not achieving Success Club, then you're not bringing in challengers, which can then be converted to amazing coaches. So that's what I have.
Gabby. Our chat's like blowing up here. Everybody's like really enjoying this call, learning so much from you. You have just validated so much, and again goes to show that we all have a lot more in common than what we think. A few things that to me stood out that I really appreciate you sharing with us, Gabby, is you mentioning that we have to let go of ego.
Yes.
And what I appreciate about that is that I think that a lot of us maybe don't really understand what it means to let go of ego. Mm-hmm. And I know that we have a lot of people on our team specifically that sometimes don't want to share during those down times, don't want to share when they're struggling, don't want to reach out because they feel like they kind of take that as personal. I honestly will share, was one of those people when I first started this business. I didn't want to share that piece of me because I felt like it was kind of a sign of weakness in a sense in myself, until I just decided to get over it and to reach out when I need help. So I appreciate you sharing that. I feel like that can definitely hold you back in this particular business. And then the whole piece about being resourceful, like guys, like I say this time and time again, we are very blessed to have a very cohesive team. We have an amazing upline with Team Eagle. Everyone is very willing to share information, but like Gabby said, be your own boss. Like, get resourceful like she did. Like, she made it a point to make sure that if she wasn't getting the training that she needed from her direct upline, she was going to figure it out. And she did, right? So, I know that a lot of us here, like we have upline, but there are some that, maybe don't have that type of support from the direct upline, and that's okay. That's fine, but be resourceful. We all have access to the same tools in the back office, guys. Like, I say it all the time. It's just a matter of what are you going to do with the resources? How are you going to utilize and implement? That's really the deciding factor, right? Because we all have access. And then the third piece, you shared so much amazing information, but what stuck out to me is the whole thing of being patient. Mm-hmm. Like, we have to be patient, because I have seen coaches quit within 6 months, within 8 months. They really did not give this business 150% of their all for a whole year. And that's what I'm actually sharing with new coaches now on our Getting Started Right. Lena was on that call, and I think someone else, where I was like, I want you all to write it down and put up a sign and post it on your wall and say, I'm going to be here a year from now. However, it's going to be by me giving it 150%.
That's right.
Not 10%, not 20%. Whether you're a full-time coach, whether you're a part-time coach, it doesn't matter. Like, you still have to show up to this business every day. You can put in an hour a day. You can put in 5 hours a day. That's what's going to determine the part-time, full-time piece of it. But you still have to show up every day, right? So we have so many questions, I think, and comments and stuff, but I realize that it's 9:00, and I know you have a call. We have a Backstage to Coaching event. Yes. So, Gabby, would it be okay, like, if anyone had questions, maybe they can kind of share it with me. We can do a chat or something like that if they had any questions for you. I apologize. I know that some people had, but I feel like it's too late.
We have 3 minutes.
All right. So can anyone Lisa had a question. Can we maybe try within 3 minutes to get that going? Go ahead, Lisa.
I don't know if I can do it in 3 minutes.
Okay, let's try.
Okay, let's do it fast. All right, Gabby, thank you for joining us today. I've connected with you in so many ways that you have no idea. I am like you in so many ways. So when you talk about being resourceful and, you know, going on your own way, even though, like Denise says, we have a lot of support and we have a lot of, I would say, hand-holding to new coaches. What happens when you see someone that it's not like being that outgoing person and moving the business forward and putting that, you know, that foot on the door, you know what I mean? Like, even if you give them everything, they still stuck and they don't wake up.
Right.
Way, let's say.
Like, what do I do?
Yeah.
So that's tough. That's a tough question because I think that our nature is to be caring and loving and we want to do it for our coaches. And I learned that the hard way last year. In 2015, I was really hand-holding a lot of my coaches, and not just my personal sponsor, but, you know, levels down, because since I never had that support from, you know, a direct upline, I made it my business to, you know, support anyone who was willing to work this business. And so it drained me. It drained me completely to the point that it was like a deciding factor. Is this even fun anymore? Right? Because at the end of the day, we have to, you know, make a conscious decision that we can't want it more than they want it. So even if we know that they have a potential beyond them even comprehending, if they don't see it, they will never, ever move this business forward. I actually have a coach that last year, amazing coach, but she didn't feel it at the time. Maybe she, you know, didn't see what I saw, but I was working very closely with her. She hit Success Club, I think it was 3 months in a row, or maybe even 4, you know, got her ticket to Summit, and then she stopped working because, you know, her heart wasn't there. My heart was, and my heart was there for her, but if she didn't feel it, she wasn't going to move this business forward, right? So what do? You keep inspiring them, you keep motivating them, and even if they leave the nest, you cannot leave after them because you have a bunch of coaches that are expecting you to stay here grounded for them. And what happened? She came back. She came back because she then realized that this is what she wanted to do. And she came back with a lot of fire. She came back with maybe what she wasn't able to provide them. You understand? So we can't push them more than what we already do. If you're getting them started right, if you're giving them the tools to succeed, if you're showing them how the back office works, you know, if you're putting them into trainings, then now it's their turn to fly. I know it's hard because I know my team, like, I want every single member of my team to succeed. And sometimes you feel like it's your fault. Like, what am I doing wrong? What am I not giving them? What am I failing at, right? But at the end of the day, if they, you know, all the top coaches say it, you know, if they're going to work this business, they're going to figure it out whether you help them or not. So if you've given them the tools, then it's okay for you to say, you know, and check in. Maybe in your getting started right call, ask them, is it okay for me, you know, do you give me permission to call you out on your why and say, hey, remember when you shared X, Y, and Z? Is that still true? Or was that not true when you shared it? Call them out on it, but ask them for permission. And then after that, it's almost like the ball is in their court. You can't do much more because you can't work their business for them. They got to work it for themselves. So I would say just let them, you just continue to inspire them and let them know that you're here whenever they're ready to come back to the nest. Okay. Anyone else?
That was awesome. That's one of the hardest parts, right, of this job.
Very.
But we can't take it personal. And, you know, like Gabby said, you run with the willing, you work with the willing, you work with those that are showing you that they want this, and you can't want it more than they want it. That's just the bottom line.
That's right. Because, you know, what ends up happening at the end is that you're so focused on worrying about these folks right here that don't want it, and you're missing the opportunity to be meeting new people that do want it, that do need your mentorship, that do need this opportunity, that do want to take advantage of it, right? So you have to continue recruiting and bringing this opportunity and sharing this amazing opportunity with more people so that, you know, you get more coaches onto your team that really do want it and want to take advantage of it.
Makes a lot of sense.
All right.
So thank you, Elisa. That was actually a really good question. I think a lot of us struggle with that. So
yeah.
Well, if anyone else has any questions, I guess let's just message them to me or Gabby if you're friends.
Let
me see you in the chat. Go ahead, Gabby. Yeah. I'm actually doing the sneak peek from my phone right now. I just posted. Awesome.
I wanted to share really quickly. I have my call with my success partner. So I'll make her wait a little bit. Oh, that's horrible. I just wanted to share 3 books that really helped me.
Yes.
I feel that whether you're a new coach or maybe a seasoned coach that haven't read these books and you struggle with these things that I'll mention, then maybe you want to pick it up. So the first one that I think is an amazing book that I think that all new coaches should read is The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy, right? This one is so great because it's not only about consistency, but it teaches you about patience, because everything, you know, worth having is not going to happen overnight. You know, I know that you see all these like artists, for example, right? Like J-Lo or Beyonce, and you're like, God, they're so lucky, but we don't know all the work, right? And all the rejection that they had to go through to get to where they are today. So The Compound Effect is a really great book. I actually listened to it because I love Darren's voice, but but it's a great book. The other one that I would recommend, doesn't matter.
And he's handsome.
I know.
Okay.
So, I just wanted to keep it at voice, but the other one is by him also, the Entrepreneur Roller Coaster. I'm not I wasn't a business owner before, Beachbody, before becoming a coach. So that's a really great book because it really gives you the ups and downs of being an entrepreneur. It really opens your eyes as to what that means and what that entails and, your responsibilities. So it really makes you check yourself. So that's another great book. And then this one is a good one. I don't know if you guys heard of this one, Rock Your Network Marketing Business. So if you've never done MLMs before, because I had never, this is a great book because it teaches you what an MLM is. It teaches you, how to present, how to close someone, how to recruit, has scripts. I mean, it's really like short. Like you see, it's like really thin. And my book is like underlined and has like everywhere. So this is a really great book. I would say those are the 3 books that I would recommend if you haven't read them to pick them up, especially if you are struggling with consistency, showing up in your business every day. It'll really focus on those areas. All right.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that. There's so many good books out there, but it's always interesting to know that,
And you almost always want to, don't feel overwhelmed to want to read everything. Just focus on one thing, especially if, I respect, all of you guys that have a full-time job and then do this on the side because, I'm a full-time mom and that's a lot. And, so for our stay-at-home moms, right? How do you guys, because it's tough, that's an hour's job, you could check out, or whatever, clock out at 5 p.m. or leave the office at 6, maybe leave that behind, but we can't do that, and obviously if you're a mom as well, you leave there to come home and be a full-time mom and, you know, do homework, cook, clean, and then run this business. So I definitely feel that these books are going to teach you, you know, to prioritize, you know, so that you're able to make it happen. So make sure that you tackle one thing at a time when it comes to PD. I know that sometimes you get into all these trainings, you know, so I would say follow whatever that training is recommending, because that's what's going to push you forward. And then jump back into, you know, something that you need, you know. So like if you're, like I said, if you're struggling with consistency, then you would read something like The Compound Effect. If you're struggling, you know, maybe with, I don't know, with like social media, then you know you want to pick up Jab, Right Hook, you know, something like that. So make sure that you are feeding the need, your skills that you need. So, all right.
Gabby, someone asked the last book, what is the author? Tony and
Oh, sorry, yeah, Sarah Robbins.
The Rock Your Network Marketing Business, right?
Yeah. Rock Your Network Marketing Business, Sarah Robbins.
Okay, Sarah Robbins.
Yep.
Was that the question, Elisa? You're raising your hand?
No, that wasn't. I was just thinking, since Gabby, you have Mateo, I think is his name, right? Matias, he's 2 or 3. He's very small. What can you say to those coaches that have a full-time job, because you had it before when you had the baby? How do you manage to work your Beachbody business and be successful at it, and at the same time be a full-time mom, be a wife, and you know, how do you manage your time? Because I feel that so many people say that I don't have time, I can do it, I can post on social media, I can be present, and you hear all these excuses that personally I don't take them, because I do go to school full time, I was working full time, and I made it happen. So I don't really understand how people say, but that's not me. So how do you personally manage that when you were in that situation of, you know, full time everything plus Beachbody?
Give me 1 second, because that's my husband who doesn't have his keys.
Okay. Kicking the hubby out. Doesn't have the key.
Sorry. He's like, I'm not going to take the key. So I just want to clarify. When I had Matias, I didn't go back to work after my maternity leave ended. So I stayed home. So he was 8 months when I decided to become a coach. So at the beginning, like I mentioned, you know, I was doing it to kind of just help people. I knew that I had to help 5 people, but I really didn't understand why. I didn't know what Success Club was until I started to do the trainings. And then I realized when I went to that one live training, that's why it's important to go to events. That's a whole different topic. How, you know, I connected with the potential of the business. And then I was like, holy crap, you know, I can do so much more with this. But I think that, you know, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I'm great at hi, Papi. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I'm great at time management, because I suck at it. But I think that prioritizing is important. ¿Está bien, mi amor?
And I think where Lisa's going with it is that, like, even though you were home, like you said, you still had a full-time job with your very young, especially an 8-month-old. That's a full-time job.
Right.
So we do have, the majority of us coaches here on this call do have jobs, you know. Right. So I mean, I think it's more like if you can share any tips, as to how to manage both jobs, basically.
Right. So I think it's like I was starting to say, it's really about prioritizing and definitely scheduling it. And I know that many of us are like terrified of calendars, right? Or scheduling things, but that's the only way it's going to happen. Because if you don't schedule it, it won't happen. It's specifically if you guys have only a small window allotted for Beachbody. You understand? So I mentioned also sacrifices before. So you're going to have to sacrifice. You know, there's no way around that, period. If you want this business to grow, you have to sacrifice. So Denise mentioned today, earlier, that she woke up at 5 this morning, right? I woke up I'm not a morning person, you know, and we put that in our heads. I'm not a morning person, so I just won't wake up early. But when you have to, you make it happen. So I was feeling overwhelmed yesterday because I have a ton of things that I need to do that I'm preparing for. You know, I have my mom and my dad here, so it's a lot on my plate. So I was feeling like, holy crap, how am I going to make all of this happen? And I kind of just went to bed feeling defeated. I really did yesterday. I was like, I don't think I can I can make all this happen. And then I prayed. I prayed to God to give me the strength to make it happen, to help me figure it out, to help me, you know, manage it. And that's what you got to do. You got to pray. You got to trust that if you're in this business, it's for a bigger purpose. It's not just, you know, about selling challenge pack. It's a bigger purpose. So you have to trust and you have to have faith that you're here for something bigger and trust that he's going to help you get through it. So what did I do? I woke up at 6 a.m. That's tough for me. That's tough for me, but I woke up because I needed to get things done. So you have to sacrifice. So if you leave to work, you know, you got to wake up at 6, for example, wake up at 5:30. I know that sounds horrible and you're just like, really? You got to do it. If your why is powerful and important to you, then you're going to sacrifice, because you're going to sacrifice today, but you're later going to be enjoying, right, the fruit of that labor. So sacrifice half hour in the morning and maybe then sacrifice 30 minutes at night and go to sleep a little later. Maybe instead of going to sleep at, 10, go to sleep at 10:30 or 11, right? So many coaches, guys, do it. So many coaches. And those are the coaches that make it happen because they find no excuses. You know, oh, I'm tired. Oh, you know, I just really can't because I got to do homework with my kids. I can't because I got to cook. I can't because... Get that word out of your mouth and just make it happen. Just do it. Just do it. That, you see that little girl right there? That's actually my niece, Adriana, who I mentioned earlier today. She's the reason I chose 3 years old to stay home with Matias, but I'm happy to report that I'm actually making more than I used to make at my age.
Oh, there she goes. I see. I'm like, what's she talking about?
You see her?
Oh, yeah.
And I'm able to stay home now because this opportunity, you know, we're so blessed to have this opportunity in our lap. And so, you know, you have to do sacrifice, you know. If you're not organized, get organized. Buy a calendar. Write it in, right? So, and like I said, I promise you, you know, I'm not the most organized person, but I know that when I have things to do and goals to hit, I just have to figure it out, you know. Ask for help, you know, be on the same page with your spouse. Tell them why this is important, why you need that 1 hour to do your personal development, your power hour, you know. Ask them to cover for you because at the end, everyone is going to benefit. Buy into your family. Let them know why you're doing this. So at the end of the day, you just have to sacrifice. You have to buy in, you know, your family. Let them understand your reason why you're doing this, right? And then just make it happen. No excuses. Write it in. Wake up early. Go to sleep later. Period. That's what I would do.
I love it. Thank you so much, Gabby. Oh, my goodness. I am going to make sure that I share this call because I'm sure there's a lot of us that weren't on because this call is gold. This is gold, seriously.
Thank you so much for having me on. I appreciate you allowing me this platform. As I said before, you know, we got to step out of our comfort zone to do things that still make us a little nervous. I was feeling anxious before the call, but this is family. We're family, right?
Oh my goodness, you're awesome.
And we have knowledge and you know, and hey, don't be surprised if I tap any of you guys to come speak on my call.
I know we have some future rock stars on this call, so
there you go.
Rock stars in the making. Well, thank you so much, Gabby. I know that you, you know, you stayed on a little extra, and I really, really appreciate it, and the team really appreciates it. And that's pretty much it. So thank you, and I owe you, girl.
Thank you, guys. Have a great night.
Everybody have a good night. I'll share the recording when it's uploaded.
Can you share it with me?
I will, of course.
Awesome. All right. Have a great night.
Thank you. Good night.